How to knit the inverted Gull cable panel stitch, English style, left-handed. To download written instructions for this stitch pattern, visit newstitchaday.com/K522. For this tutorial, you'll need the following materials: a pair of knitting needles, and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we're using their Lion's Pride Woolspun, available exclusively at Michael's Craft Stores, in the color Orchid. For this stitch, you'll need to know the following techniques: knit, purl, cable 4 left, cable 4 right. For this stitch, we're going to be working a panel over 13 stitches, which means that the motif is just going to be worked in the center of any size fabric that you want. You could cast on as many stitches as you prefer in whatever method is most comfortable for you, but we're only going to be working over the middle 13 stitches in this tutorial. Row 1. After we've worked our fabric until the point where our panel begins, we're going to start by knitting 2. Then we're going to purl 9. There's 3. Six. And 9. Okay, and then we're going to finish up our panel by knitting 2. Okay, and then you can continue working your fabric and turn your row. Row 2. After you've turned your work and reached the point where your panel begins, we're going to start by purling 2. Alright, so now we are going to do a cable 4 left. So we're going to take a cable needle like this, and we are going to slip the next stitch onto our cable needle, and we're going to hold that in front of our work like so. Then we are going to knit 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to knit the stitch from our cable needle. Okay, so move these over a little bit, bring it right over here, and the key here is to not have things be too tight. Okay, that's where people have a lot of trouble with cables, is they knit a little bit too tight, and looseness is all about what we're trying to do here. Okay, especially with this cross of 1 stitch over 3 stitches. Alright, so we're going to set this cable needle off to the side for a second, and then we're going to knit 1. Alright, and then we are going to do a cable 4 right. So for this one, we're going to take our cable needle again. We're going to slip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to hold these in the back. Okay, so we're going to put this right behind where we're working. Okay, I like to just hold it kind of in my hand like this. Then we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit the 3 from our cable needle. So just like so. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we can set our cable needle off to the side again. And we're going to finish up our panel here by purling 2. That will complete the 13 stitches for our cable panel. Alright, so you can continue working to the end of your row and then turn your work. Row 3. After we've finished the row and turned our work and then worked to the point where our panel begins again, we're going to start by knitting 2. Then we're going to purl 9. There's 3. 6. And 9. Okay, and we're going to finish up our 13 stitch panel by knitting 2. Now you can continue working your fabric to the end of the row and then turn your work. Row 4. After we've turned our work and we've continued up into the point where our panel begins, we'll start by purling 2. And you can start to see that this is actually creating sort of like a little ridge that separates this center panel from the rest of our fabric. Okay, then we're going to knit 9. Okay, then we're going to knit 9. And then we'll finish up this row by purling 2. Okay, then you can continue working to the end of your row and then turn your work. So we're going to repeat rows 1 through 4 until we've reached our desired length. And that's how you knit the inverted gull cable panel stitch. After a few repeats, your pattern should look like this.
Hey, I'm Johnny Vasquez, founder of New Stitch A Day and your teacher for this tutorial. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to learn from us. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, we produce new content every single day, hence New Stitch A Day. You can click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a single stitch. And if you click one of the links to the side here, you can see the previous stitch in our series or the next stitch in our series. And if you click this link, you'll be able to see one of my favorites. And don't forget, you can also download a PDF with the written instructions for this tutorial by clicking or using the URL link that's on the screen. Again, I want to thank you so much for learning with us, and I hope that we've helped make your knitting and crochet skills a little bit better today. Yarn on!